And so maybe starting at that early stage of strategy, how do you typically in the team have approached strategy? And are there ways that AI may or may not be helpful there?
Yes, I know that there's a way that you do it and you go through it, and founders are approaching this too because we basically have the same kind of path that we put all clients on. And everybody knows this. You've got to get grounded in the category and really understand what the competitive space looks like. And that is an area certainly that AI can do a fantastic job. It knows pretty much everything about the products that are out there. I think an area to watch out for is if you're working on some kind of novel category, subcategorization, it's probably going to fall short on that. But if you really have kind of something that's well grounded in there, getting a baseline of what's really driving purchase, like what consumers are buying and why. And from our work too, is like, what are those decision drivers that really matter? And within there too, like on a food product, everybody has to show up for taste, right? But then you start to get narrow in there and you define what really is your special sauce and that recipe of your differentiation. It's going to really understand that. So getting grounded in that, a lot of founders actually built their products and things because they actually know this and they're scratching their own itch, but it actually is also kind of coming to the other side of that. And that tends to lend itself well into kind of early ideas of a brief, like how would you actually go about creatively designing that and then moving through. And of course, like in our process too, we're being very thoughtful about integrating AI into our process because we have longstanding ways of doing things. And it's not like, hey, it's this magical sauce that came out of some prompt, but instead it's like feeding kind of the grounded in science and a success that we've seen, but translating that into on the creative side. And I've already touched is moving that towards of that creativity of bringing forward just exploration of ideas. We find that the tools, the creative side of the tools do really well of sharing and showing and pointing at specific other competing products and then identifying going from that other research, like what is it that your product can do well that's aligned with what consumers are looking for and pushing forward some of that ideation. And I think that even at that stage, if you're engaging with an agency and showing up with that kind of work, I think we spend a lot of time in the discovery phase. It's calendar time, it's hours of our strategy time. And so some of those steps, I think, can realistically be accelerated with using some of those AI type tools.